and good afternoon. It's Team from maverickstar. Guys, first video of the year, and I just wanted to share some thoughts with you guys. Back in 2000, I was at an observatory in a laboratory doing some experiments on corn seeds, and that involved irradiating them. And the reason why we was irradiating them is because we wanted to basically give them cancer. The reason for that is because we wanted to create mutations in cells so that we could see how they would change. Now, there's a good reason for this. Yes, we obviously achieved what we attempted to do, and with very little effort as well. It was very easy to do that. And there's a big point here I want to make a little later on in the video, so you're just going to have to stay around a little bit longer to understand why I feel the need to mention this to you. So, for a virologist, this is someone that studies the genetics of viruses and things like that. What must have been going on over the last 2 years must be a wet dream for them, and especially when we've seen COVID-19 take on a few mutations, because that is exactly what we was doing back in 2000 in the observatory, in the laboratory at this university. I don't want to mention the university, maybe draw some negative limelight on them, but in order to understand these things, you have to do these things. So you're probably not familiar with the woman in Wuhan virology department, which has been responsible for the outbreak of COVID-19. You're also probably not familiar with the fact that you can't give bats COVID-19, and you're probably also likewise not familiar with the people that give the clearance to gain of function research to continue. You're probably not familiar also with the fact that the United States, as well as lots of other countries around the world, were funding Wuhan facility, the virology facility where COVID-19 originated from. The point is that if you start doing some research, you're going to come across this woman who was very passionate about her work. She was taking bats, taking their blood and looking for viruses that was not like common bats, because she knew there was something special about, I suppose, the anatomy about bats. Maybe they are perfect facilitators, and that they're able to naturally catch viruses that other animals aren't. And that is probably why the woman that is now technically known as the Bat Lady was specifically interested in bats. The thing is that when she obtained this particular strain, it was then found that you could easily manipulate it. So it should come as no surprise to a lot of people that when we see what has been created out of that laboratory now has escaped, and that is exactly what has happened. And I won't mention some world leaders' names, but they are well aware of it, and we could easily point the finger at them because they are so close down the line. If we narrowed it down to just 5 people, that one of these world leaders would be accountable for what happened, because they allowed gain of function research to continue and the funding carried on into Wuhan facility. But the big point is that what this Bat Lady understood about the virus that she was studying and working on is that this was susceptible to easy modification, and that was like hitting the jackpot. The point is that as we have now seen, this strain is not only, as we know, very easy to modification, but it is now proving that very fact that we've got, we have the Delta strain, we've got the Omicron strain, and we're going to get a lot more of these. And I was thinking, back at the research that we was doing at the university on just causing cancerous cells to form in corn seeds. We were growing them, then we was splicing them under the microscope so we could see how we'd damage the cells and create cancers within corn seeds. I was thinking, you know what, we have now opened a Pandora's box, because the way we was modifying these corn seeds was basically putting them in a microwave for a few seconds, and then we'd change it to not just 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds. We'd do a batch of them and we'd give them cancer. And the Omicron virus that's out there now, COVID-19 Delta, it's just a matter of time. It really is like we're in a casino right now, just waiting for a new variant to come about, one that we can't contain, one that the vaccines are not going to be able to contain like the governments think. Regardless, it's out. The Pandora'S box is open. In the UK, 60 million people, probably 20 million homes. Out of those 20 million homes, there's probably 15 million microwaves in there. And if there are cold spots in microwaves, you might think, if people are putting stuff in the microwave and they've coughed and they've got COVID-19 on the packaging or whatever they're microwaving, you might think, that's not a big thing. But because they're microwaving it for 2-3 minutes, which pretty much sterilises most things. In fact, what a lot of people don't know is the cleanest environment in somebody's home is actually a microwave. But there are cold spots in microwaves that don't ever have radiation. They might get just a couple of seconds of radiation. Well, my thoughts is that if someone's got COVID-19 and they're microwaving their food, it is no different to what we was doing back in the university to give corn cancer. And what a lot of people don't understand about cancer is it is a cell mutation, a perfect healthy cell that mutates against the rules. And there's no difference to the people that study virology. They will completely know where I'm coming from right now, and they might agree with me. They might say, oh my God, we just never ever thought of this. There are a couple of ways of going about creating viruses, but another way of creating a virus, a mutated virus, is to, of course, give it cancer. And I suppose if I had 10 let's say 5,000 petri dishes with COVID-19, so there's growing medium in there, algae or chocolated blood or something like that, something that it thrived on and grew on, and in the perfect conditions, and I microwaved them, I bet you after 5,000 times I would have a different variant of the COVID-19. And like I said, there's probably 15 million households in the UK with COVID-19, with not just microwave, but then if we look at the statistics, how many people then out of the 15 million that have microwaves in their homes, how many of those actually have COVID-19? We're going to do a big haircut on that number. Let's just say 1,000 do. And 1,000 of those put stuff in the microwave, and probably for a couple of minutes they cook something, but there is cold spots in microwaves. Good way to find this out is, it's cruel, but if you put an ant in a microwave, it will run to the cold spot in the microwave. Or there is other ways that you can find out by thermal paper. You can put thermal paper in there, something that reacts to heat. When it gets hot, it will show you where the waveguide or the wave pattern is in the microwave, and you will see that there are definitely cold spots. But you know, you keep doing the numbers and you find out that, you know, it's not just the UK that have microwaves, it's not just the households there, and it's not just the amount of people that have COVID-19 or Omicron or Delta variant or whatever. You eventually end up with a possibility which is more likely to develop a different strain of the variant of COVID-19. And remember why Bat Lady chose this one, because it was easily adaptable to work with. So that means it's just a matter of time, isn't it? And when we've seen a couple of variants of the COVID-19 at the moment, already seen a couple of variants, and for a virologist, this is like jackpot. It's like, you know, heaven. You know, what we're seeing right now is going on. A lot of us are just taking no notice. We don't realise the situation, but the situation is inevitable, I would say. You know, what we could be creating in our homes right now, lesser dangerous substances with regards to microwaving foods with COVID-19 on them. We could also be just moments away from something extremely, extremely deadly. Because this woman in Wuhan, in the virology department, discovered something that was easy to manipulate, and that's why she chose to work with it. And I'm just saying to you that what we was doing in that university was irradiating, you know, living organisms in order to give them cancer. And the two ways can achieve the same results. So, you know, I think we're probably not far off. It's just a matter of time before something really, really bad comes about this. We are just literally pulling the one-armed bandit's arm and waiting for the jackpot to come. And when that jackpot comes, we're probably going to see something worse than a bubonic plague, worse than smallpox, worse than Ebola come about. Because it doesn't take a genius to know how to manipulate viruses and you know, biological weapons. It doesn't take a genius to know that. It's just a matter of time. And we are all doing it in our homes. Think about it. The whole thing about this is that we've done it to ourselves. You know, human beings have done it to ourselves. We, back in the day, during the Manhattan Project, some people will be familiar with that. This was before we dropped, or before the United States dropped bombs on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. You know, the Manhattan Project was the ones that developed that, and during that work that was going on there, they wasn't sure that when they tested, you know, the largest one, whether it would ignite the atmosphere. That would have been the end. If it was the case, it would have been the end for every living organism on this planet. Yet they did it. And look at what we've done. This isn't a natural, evolved pandemic that's come about. This was a man-made one. We did this to ourselves. We have damaged, the global economic system because of our meddling in things we shouldn't have been able to be doing in the first place. Or if you're going to do it, have respect for what you're doing so it doesn't leak out of observatories like, or sorry, not observatories, but virology departments like Wuhan. And don't just point your finger right now at China saying they was lax in what they was doing, because biological warfare and the development of biological viruses and things like that is everywhere. The United Kingdom has their facility, America has their own facility, Russia has their own facility. Everybody and every country has an interest in keeping up with this sort of technology. And, we have just unleashed something a couple of years ago that shouldn't even be here in the first place. Bat Lady took advantage of that strain. And now that strain is out and it's already mutated without any assistance from human beings whatsoever. And it's only a matter of time, in my opinion, before we see other mutations. Guys, I like to think, that what I'm doing here is just giving you a heads up on some of the things that we could possibly be facing. Normally our main subject is the magnetic pole reversal, but I can't help when I've got knowledge of something in relaying that to you. I just hope that you appreciate that and you find it in yourselves to support what we do here at this observatory. It's not just about the magnetic pole reversal. There's lots of things taking place in our world, and 2022 isn't going to be any easier than the previous recent years, because I think a lot of things are changing. I think nature in itself is getting pissed with us because of our behaviour. I think you'll agree. We do need to clean our act up. Guys, link down there in the description. You'll help support what we do at the observatory. And also, what I usually do, take care of your loved ones. As always, bye for now.